I had a dream many nights that I saw all these kids in this indoor football complex. And I saw all their parents and everybody, and they were all raising their hands, in praise and worship. I'm not somebody that dreams a whole lot, and I usually don't remember them if I do dream, but for some reason I was having a reoccurring dream. I was kind of embarrassed to talk about it, and one night I woke up about 3:30 in the morning, and I looked over at Natalie, and she was wide awake. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "What are you doing awake?" So I told her, I had a dream, and she said, "Well, what was the dream about?" And so I explained to her about the boys and their parents in an indoor football complex on an AstroTurf field, raising their hands, in worship to Christ. And she said, "Well, that's funny, I just had the same dream." That following Sunday at church, I was sitting in a chair, and I was sweating, had sweat from head to toe, and couldn't pay attention to the preacher, couldn't pay attention to the music, and just asked God, what is it you're wanting me to do? I don't know that I'm the guy that you want for this job. I'm good at business. I used to be really good at, having fun. And I used to be, I'm not somebody that's studied the Bible the way it needs to be studied to start teaching it to kids. And I feel like you're wanting me to do that. So if you're wanting me to do that, I need a sign right now. I had just taken my son's basketball team to see a movie called Facing the Giants 2 weeks before at his birthday party. And at that very moment in church, when I gave God the ultimatum and said, "I need to know what it is you're wanting me to do," the entire congregation went black. They dropped the lights, they dropped 2 movie screens, and there was a excerpt from the movie Facing the Giants shown on the overhead projector. And so I tell people those are my 2 signs from God that we were supposed to start working with young boys.
Each week we serve about 300 meals. Through the summer it doubles. In the past 5 years we've served over 20,000 meals, most of which I've cooked from my home. We were shocked to see the kids and just to understand that they weren't growing, and to see while they were so small. And the kids that started living with us, they would just shoot up, their height and their bodies would just start developing, and it was all just a lack of nutrition. It was real eye-opening just to see that when we would have fruit especially, they'd stuff their pockets full, or because we just have the boys, a lot of them would ask if they could take home plates for their sisters at home. And it's hard to understand when we've always had such an abundance. And we have a boy who has a little Ethiopian belly and it looks all distended, and he would literally eat until he threw up at our house because he didn't know the next time he would eat. And it was just hard to comprehend, but to see us able to put a dent in that, and to see these kids, not being hungry anymore, and knowing more than anything that they're going to have a meal the next day when they come to Power Cross, it's a really rewarding feeling. Plus, I'm not a real good cook, but they all make me feel like I'm a really good cook because they never get anything homemade, so everything I make is outstanding.
My sons don't grow a lot since he been over here because Jeff, they like I said, they feed him a lot. He's talking more, finding friends, and he finding himself. That's the main thing. He finding himself over here. They challenge the kids to get their grades, to bring their grades up. So it was the DC average, Now he done brought him up to an A average. He walks with his head up now. He walks with his head up. He used to walk with his head down, and now he just walk with his head up, shoulders broad, and happy. He happy. He's a happy little fella now. This right here done made me come a long way, because I done been locked up and all this. I could have been one of the best athletes over there, but I didn't apply myself to it. If I had this program right here, I'd probably be still or retiring from the NFL or whatever. For me to stay out of the streets and to be a role model to these kids, that's a plus to me, So, and then with me being out the streets right there, I think that helps my son out too. My daddy's home every night, and I don't have to worry about him being in the streets and this and that and the other. So I think that's a plus, It's a big plus.
My dad, he's been locked up ever since I was in 3rd grade. He was charged with murder and he got life in court. And ever since my dad's been gone, it's been pretty tough to think about it and things like that, and what he's going through and how he handles it. And I really love my dad, and I wish he was here today. Without Power Cross, I would probably ride my bike anywhere and making the bad choices, hanging out with the wrong crowd. We have 2 roads to go down. One is the bad road, and one is the good road. And Power Cross, if you've been on the bad road, they try to help you to go through things and to get you on the good side and go down the good path and get closer with God. Power Cross helps you to learn how to walk away from bad situations and separate yourself from bad things. There's a lot of kids that need Power Cross and need protected. I'm doing real good in school. I'm in advanced classes, making A's and B's, and my future holds a lot of things, like far as going to college and then making it to either the MLB or the NFL, and having millions of dollars and passing down money to Power Cross and helping them.
When I see young men on the streets, little kids out getting in trouble, I think they need Power Cross, need something like this, if not this. It's just amazing what they're doing. A lot of kids I don't think will still be here without it. Jeff and Nat, they're really amazing what they do. They just work all the time just to get us better and make our whole city and state, maybe one day the world, better.
My family, like before Power Cross, it was hectic. Nobody paid attention to me. My mom would go to work. I barely see her when I get home. I was mean to my grandma. I didn't really care if I lived or died. So it was hard for me. When I see kids like out there on their own and stuff like that, I refer back to me. Like, that could have been me if I didn't have Power Cross. And I think I was headed to probably a high school dropout, I wouldn't be doing good in middle school. I wouldn't be doing the sports period. So it would be, a total drag for me. I'd be on a crooked road. My grades, ooh. From becoming a D, I think it's a D, C, and an F student to become all A's and B's. I was on honor roll this whole year, and I'm in 8th grade, about to be a freshman, and my grades have gone up substantially. I love it. I think of like Nat's my second mother and just my dad. He's always on me about some of the crazy things. He's teaching me how to become a better man in Christ and outside the field. He's teaching me everything that he knows, and he told me one day, I want you to be better than what I was. And I just thought about it, and I said, I am. I hope you know that, but I am. No matter how it's coming, I'm gonna be better. My dad, I haven't seen him since I was 3 years old. And that's when he left me. And if he'd see the man I am today, he wouldn't have left. He would have been a good father, and he would have got in it too. And I feel like if my dad had a Power Cross, he would have been a good man. He would have stayed with me, and he would have probably been a good ball player all around. I want to be able to go out in the world and do major things, do big things. Not saying like president things, but I'm gonna do big things, and I'm gonna tell everybody who has inspired me, and that's Jesus. And after all that's done, and I'm burnt out, I'm gonna come back to the foundation that born and raised me, Statesville, and I'm gonna give back. I'm what the knowledge that I know of sports, and I'm gonna come back to Power Cross and I'm gonna run it one day.
I'm Costi Cute, Mayor of Statesville, and I've been involved with Power Cross for the last 2.5 years. They're having a transformational impact on the young men that they work with. And the other thing they're doing is they're not working just with the young men, but with their families and with their extended families, so that they're giving an opportunity and a new way of life and a positive outlook on life to a whole group that were perhaps disadvantaged or disenfranchised in some way. And that's how you change society, is one person at a time. Natalie and Jeff Stormont only have 24 hours a day that they can give to this. And so they need more help, they need more money, they need more resources so that it can expand the program further.
I'm Victoria Harris, the Community Resource Coordinator here in Statesville through Statesville Lauderdale Gang Initiative. I work with community partners who offer services in the community to gang at-risk youth and adults. I believe they're affecting the next generation in a great way, because with the young people that they are taking are those that, for whatever reason, were not playing in school or any other organized sports, and they weren't part of any part of the community that they felt like they had ownership in. And because of the gang activity that we are seeing in our area, that was really a group that was threatening them to become a part of. And I think Natalie and Jeff have stepped in and have given them a positive, pro-social way of connecting and feeling a part and aspiring to something bigger than themselves that's really saved the lives of many of these young people. Because we know that in gangs, that it's a violent lifestyle, and many end up either in the grave or in prison. When I've talked with Jeff and I've seen him be moved to emotion because he can't take a young boy because there's no funding for him. That's very moving as a community resource coordinator to see that, but it breaks my heart too to know that that opportunity is potentially there. The only thing standing between that opportunity and the young boy is funding.
The high school that 95% of our boys are zoned to attend, it's the only city school. It's predominantly low-income kids that attend there. In the past 10 years, 50% of the football players have gone on to be convicted of a crime. 28% have gone on to be convicted felons. There's murderers, there's rapists, drug traffickers. Out of the 6 murderers of those kids, we have every one of their sons in our program. I've had to sit in the witness stand and testify on behalf of not having a dad put to death so that his 3 boys could still have a dad, even though he would never, ever be able to see him throw a touchdown pass or hit a home run, but just that he was still there. And we know if these boys continue through our program that they won't be there. It won't be an option for their life. They'll have seen a different path, and they will be willing to take it because they know the outcome will be so much better for them, for their siblings, and for generations. The town has, and not just our town, but our culture has allowed the cycle to repeat and repeat and repeat and never be broken, so they never learn anything different. Our program teaches them the exact opposite of what their daily life is, but they hunger for it. They hunger for the discipline, for the consistency of knowing that this place will always be there for them. We need more to provide for them so that we can provide it to more boys. These boys, they're the future of this town, and it can be so much brighter than it is. They have a light of Christ in their life, and they take it to the darkest places. You know, some of these kids live in places that you wouldn't die in. And if they can change that house, this whole town, it can be something amazingly different.
Currently, we've got an indoor facility. We've got room to feed kids. We've got room to practice with kids. We just received a baseball field from the city of Statesville. And the baseball field is located directly in the projects, and it's basically across the street from our facility. And there's a piece of land very close that is perfect for practicing football on. We are in desperate need of somewhere for these boys to have a football facility where they can practice, and we want to be able to provide these boys with the opportunity to stay in the program, stay in the Bible studies and the tutoring and the feeding programs. And if we can get that football field, I think it'll open a door for another 100 kids to become and be part of what we're doing. It's been a constant battle, and when I say battle, you know, people don't understand that phone calls come in at 2 and 3 in the morning. There's kids sitting, you know, in front of their house and nobody's home, and they're trying to figure out where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to do, and the only lifeline they have is mine or my wife's cell phone. And that room with those people in it will just be it'll be a victory.